is to work, and everybody is a jerk, because they all hate their lives.
Hey everyone, it's Movie Lover 120 here, and today is for another horrible sequel I'm reviewing. Yep, I've already reviewed the first film, and I've already reviewed the second film, and let me say this. The first film is a masterpiece, and one of my favorite movies of all time. Second one isn't as sequel. It's an okay movie, but it's not as good as the first. And then you got a movie that jumps the shark, completely ruins everything good, changes its rating to PG-13 instead of an R rating. Yes, I mean this. So, Robocop 3 is the third movie of the Robocop series. And it was actually kind of filmed around way before its release in 1993, and actually didn't get released till 1993 because Orion went bankrupt. Around the time they were filming it, Peter Weller did not want to reprise his role because he was filming Naked Lunch, and 2, he apparently did not like the script for the second movie, so he backed out of it. Sorry about that, guys. Anyways, this film, the plot of this movie is OCP now owns Detroit. The company plans to demolish one of the city's largest neighborhoods to build the gleaming city of the future, after an army of ruthless mercenaries finish throwing everyone out of their homes. But Robocop, who's now played by John Burke, and he gives a very horrible performance of the character, joins forces with the bandit urban freedom fighters battling to save their neighborhood. After battling a lethally efficient ninja android and equipped with a new arsenal of high-tech weaponry, Robocop and the courageous residents take on OCP's private army. It's all-out war, an explosive street fight that could destroy either the entire city or the evil powers behind the brutal corporation raid. Guys, this movie should have just waited till Peter Weller was available, and I could tell just by this plot alone, this movie had potential. If it were rated R and had Peter Weller and had the producers lead the original movie, it could have probably been an even better sequel than Robocop 2. So what happened? Same problems with Robocop 2. They ruined Frank Miller's script, and because of this, Frank Miller chose not to return to Hollywood until 2005, when he directed Sin City with Robert Rodriguez. Lesson he learned was to not be the writer, and to be the director of his stuff when making Hollywood films. And here are the rest of the bad qualities. The fact that this movie is rated PG-13 and not R like the first two Robocop movies, which is actually so stupid because the violence gets toned down and Robocop is a very violent series. And it can't even make up its own mind regarding its target demographic. It's most of the time it's too childish for adult viewers and even too dark for children. Some lame action scenes, terrible attempts at comedy. They even have cool attempts, like they have ninja robots even, and they even have they have what could have actually seemed like a really cool concept of a scene in the final battle, with Robocop flying on jetpacks and taking out a whole army. Yet it screws them up, and it makes them look terrible. Some very poor special effects, especially during Robocop's flight sequences. See such really abysmal editing, like, here's an example. When Odo sliced off Robocop's hand, you can literally see, if you look closely, the actor's arm behind his back. And all the plot holes. Like when Lewis is killed, Robocop is somehow unable to kill the rehab soldiers, because of his fourth prime directive forbidding him from killing OCP members. Even though apparently the directive was removed in the second movie, so then in the second movie he could have just rebelled against OCP then. But it's never explained again. The villains. The villains in this movie are Paul McDaggett. Specifically, Paul McDaggett is such a terrible character and antagonist. And he's just basically just comes off of this cartoonish and unbelievable animated cartoon TV show superhero villain. In contrast to very intimidating villains like Clarence Boddicker in the first film, and Dick Jones, and Kane, who were decent and menacing antagonists. Ridiculous scenes like in the final battle, the Detroit police somehow can't even hit all the rehab soldiers and criminals, even though they are slowly walking straight. Because they just need to build this up. Like, half this final battle kind of rips off and copies Return of the Jedi. Yeah, the whole final battle with the Detroit police and the criminals is literally exactly like the Star Killer Fleet battle from Return of the Jedi. In fact, this whole movie kind of rips off Return of the Jedi at times. Like, it's like they said, hey, Return of the Jedi seemed good because it was lighthearted, so why can't we do the same thing with this? Right? No! So you filmmakers who made the third Robocop are idiots for just trying to copy a certain sequel, all because it worked that time. And the mathematical errors are all over the place. Like, I'm not gonna stop saying like him. The damaged Robocop says that he's only efficient at 23%, yet his HUD says he's only efficient at 12 frickin' percent. And and there is a cameo of Ed 209, and it's by far the most infuriating scene of the franchise that pisses me off. So, one of the rebels, one of the freedom fighters, deprograms Ed 209 when he's doing his countdown to be as loyal as a puppy. Then, of course, at the very beginning of the movie, Lewis dies, and it ruins the film, because here's how I would have done it. If I directed Robocop 3, I would have waited till Peter Weller was available, I would have waited till Paul Verhoeven was available, I would have still kept the Basil score because that's the only redeeming quality of this whole movie. I would have removed Paul McDaggett as the villain. I would have not recasted the old man. I would have still had him be in this movie. Because technically, he didn't really get punished at the end of the second movie, so it would make more sense for him to still be the villain of the third movie. And if maybe still have Lewis be killed, except I would have her, go through the same process Murphy did and be turned into a third Robocop. Hence calling, like Lucimus Prime said in his ranking, then it would be called Robocop 3. It would make sense. I also would still have it be R-rated. I'd still have all the gore from the first movie come back, have the same dark tone from the first movie come back. It would make the final battle actually good. And those would be how I would do the movie. But all in all, guys, despite all this, Robocop 3 is a laughably freaking terrible sequel, and I recommend you avoid the hell out of it if you love the first movie so much. And here's how I would obviously rank this piece of freaking crap. I am so giving Robocop 3 a 0 out of 10. Help! I'm officially done reviewing Robocop 3. Now, next movie review is going to be for the 2014 remake, which is thankfully a freaking masterpiece. Maybe not good, but it's still a freaking masterpiece compared to this film. But, all in all, guys, that'll be it for this review. Thank y'all for watching, and if you liked this and want to see more, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Movie Lover 120.